So here we are on verdict day in the trial of Toronto Police Constable James Forcillo. The verdict is not guilty of second-degree murder, not guilty of manslaughter, but guilty of attempted murder in the streetcar shooting death in 2013 of Sami Yatim. So you might think, and I might have thought even, that verdict day means kind of the end of the story, but in this particular instance it doesn't. Actually, very little except for the finding of guilt has changed even for Constable Forcillo. His lawyer has filed, and did so at the start of the proceeding, a stay of proceedings motion. And it's based on the fact that Constable Forcillo is a police officer employed by the state who substantively followed his training on that night of the shooting. So how can the state then charge him with crimes when he was doing the state's bidding? That's the essence of the abusive process stay of proceedings motion. So they're also filing a constitutional challenge, or they'll be mounting a constitutional challenge to the validity of the punishment in this case, which, depending on how you read the criminal code, is either a minimum sentence of 4 years or 5 years, and even the lawyers don't seem sure of which applies here. But the point is it's a mandatory minimum, and I'm sure people are aware of many challenges that have been filed, and successfully so, to mandatory minimum sentences which were largely brought in by the former Harper government. So this is another one. So there's that motion, there's the stay of proceedings motion, and these are all now going to be heard in May, starting May 16th, which means, of course, that though Constable Forcillo has been found guilty of attempted murder, the actual conviction has not been registered yet. So his bail is extended. He's been on bail throughout the trial. He has been suspended from the Toronto Police Force. That happened today as a result of the finding of guilt. But otherwise, he'll be on bail. Some of the conditions have apparently changed a little bit, and not until May, at which point they'll deal with these two motions, and they have booked about 2 weeks for it. They'll deal with these motions. Then, assuming that neither one of them succeeds, they will go to the sentencing portion, and presumably at that point, Constable Forcillo would be imprisoned. And it's, you know, whatever you might think of the trial or the charges or the sentence, it's a pretty shocking thing that a Toronto police officer is going to be going to jail, unless things change between now and the end of May. Is going to be going to jail for attempted murder of a civilian. I think the verdict may make little legal sense, frankly, because Constable Forcillo was charged with both murdering and attempting to murder the same person in the same 11 seconds. Those were the charges, and he has been found guilty. And there's a lot of common sense probably to it. You know, the jury is always praised for its common sense. And if you remember back to the summer of 2013 when this happened, and when within, I think, 7 minutes, there was YouTube video of the shooting, and in particular the second volley of shots, which is what this attempted murder charge and finding relate to. 6 shots, blam, 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 into the prone body of an 18-year-old boy. It's just... And you'll recall probably maybe your reaction, and certainly the reaction of many of your friends and neighbors, which was, that is one volley too far. And really, that's what this jury found too.